You know that feeling when you get home from school, you have 3 homeworks due, and an essay, and also an exam tomorrow, and you told yourself, okay, today's the day I lock in, I get all of this done, light work, and then you just check Instagram quickly, and then it's 11:45 p.m. That has to be one of the top 5 worst feelings of all time. Because it's not just the panic of what you're gonna tell your teacher tomorrow, whether it's some BS excuse that I often have had to pull because of this exact same reason, thinking, oh, should I pretend to be ill? Or how badly am I gonna do tomorrow? It's more the shame, because this would happen to me so often, and I would have promised myself that today was the day. Like, I'd get all of this done, and I knew what I had to do, but I simply just wouldn't. And if this resonates with you as well, I mean, for me, I always thought it was a discipline problem. Turns out that it actually wasn't. I figured out why it happens to me, and to so many other students I speak to, and my evenings changed completely. Because here's the actual real thing. Your evenings determine what grade you get. Because if you think about it, every student is going to school. And so the real other difference that it makes is when you go home from school and between the time you go to sleep, that block of time is where the real difference is made. And once I fixed that period of time, I finally got the revision done. I got these grades, and I finally started being productive in my evenings, and it felt so good. By the way, I run the #1 free student community on school with over 22,000 students from all around the world. If you want to study alongside people who are actually locking in, I'll be linked in the description. But let's get on to how to stop wasting evenings. And the first one is to decide on the train. And this changed everything, and I've not heard many people talk about it. And so for me to get home from school, it's a walk, a train, then a bus, then a bit of a walk as well. But what I found really works for me is I start planning my evening on the train ride home, not when I get back, on the way home. I don't mean just saying, okay, I'll do some chemistry tonight, I'll get all of those assignments done. I mean really specifically, I'll be like, okay, as soon as I walk through the door, okay, I'm gonna get dressed. I mean, not get dressed, get undressed. Wait, I'm gonna change my out of my uniform into my normal clothes. Then I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna specifically do this 20-mark question on organic chemistry, mark it, write down my mistakes, and then start my history essay tonight. That level of specificity. And here's why it matters. When you walk through your front door, you've made hundreds of decisions that day. School is tiring, right? Like, you just spent 8 hours at school, constantly doing lessons, making decisions. And so quite frankly, your brain is cooked. When you go home and tell yourself, what should I do first? Your exhausted brain doesn't think. It just does the path of least resistance, which for a lot of the time is just grabbing your phone, right? And there's a study on judges where their quality of decision dropped from 65% to nearly 0 just from making too many calls in a row. And that's trained legal professionals, right? Your brain does the exact same thing after a full day of school. And so when you give yourself the room to make decisions, your brain gets something called decision fatigue. You end up making the wrong decision. So when I'm like on my way when I'm on my way home from school and I make the decision, it makes it really easy. So the moment I'm walking through the door, I know exactly what I'm doing, and that sense of clarity really does help me. I stopped asking my after-school brain when I'm home and feeling kind of tired, make the plan. I made the plan before I got there. No gap for my brain to fill it with Instagram. And so this is what you're going to start doing for every day. On your way home from school, whether you walk home or on the bus or on the train, open your notes app and write down 3 specific things that you're going to do in order as soon as you walk through your front door. Not subjects, tasks, and do that. And the next thing is to fix non-negotiables. And this is a really kind of powerful hack that I discovered. Basically, you have to realize that most students' evenings are completely optional, right? You can start when you feel ready, which basically means you never will. Non-negotiables are different. And because normally when I get home, I had just so much time to kill. And the only thing that like made me get productive was my own free will, right? Like, so what I mean is, like, it was all based upon me. Like, it was optional, right? I didn't have to study, so it used up a lot of discipline and willpower for me, and so it would be far easier for me to just scroll. But non-negotiables are different. Regardless of how you feel, you're gonna go and have dinner, right? Especially if you have dinner with your family, which you should be, because it's good for you. Like for me, I have dinner with my parents all evenings, and so what I did was I just asked them to move dinner like slightly earlier so that I'll have it as soon as I get home from school. Because that way, when I get home from school, I'm not gonna end up scrolling for an hour, because in 10 minutes time there's a non-negotiable block, which is having dinner. So what I mean is, you can kind of manipulate non-negotiables in this way to get stuff done. If your evening like work session starts every evening at 6:30 and it ends at 9, that's a non-negotiable because you already decided and you just stick to it. If you want to take this to the next level, you can think of stuff like you already have to do, like brushing your teeth or getting ready to go to bed. If you already brush your teeth anyway, so if you make it so that every time you go to brush your teeth, you look at flashcards or you look at the notes that you stuck on the wall every time you brush your teeth, that's something you're gonna get done no matter what. Also, because I have to go downstairs to have dinner and I've set dinner as a non-negotiable, because I'm downstairs anyway, I use that to practice the piano, and since I practice the piano straight afterwards, I'm downstairs anyway, I just sit down at the table downstairs and just get some work done. Leveraging non-negotiables is really powerful, and I found that it really does help in not wasting your evenings. It's kind of like anchors that you can use throughout your evening, and so try that out. But a quick break to talk about today's sponsor, Akiflow. And honestly, it's relevant because it's literally something that you can use to fix the exact problem that this video is about. So the reason that your evenings get wasted is usually because that your days don't have a structure to begin with. you have just a to-do list, but a to-do list doesn't actually tell you when you're going to get things done. Akiflow fixes this with time blocking. As you can see, it's as simple as dragging your tasks into your calendar and assigning them a slot. So by the time you sit down to work, the decisions are already made. So no more questions such as what should I actually do next at 7 p.m. when your brain is fried. What I find useful day to day is the inbox feature. Everything I need to do, whether it's a task from Notion, an email from Gmail, something from to-do list, it all pulls it automatically into one place, so nothing gets lost across 5 apps. I open Akiflow, everything's there, I block it out, and it's done. And this AI Copilot learns your habits, and it starts to suggest when you should be doing tasks based on actually how you work. So you're not manually scheduling everything from scratch every morning. If you want to try it, there's a free trial right now, and also a free one-to-one onboarding call, which I recommend doing when you first set it up. Links in the description, the first one below. And it's worth doing if wasted evenings are something you actually want to fix. But back to what I was saying. And the end time is actually really, really powerful as well. Ending at a certain time. Knowing that you will finish your work by 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. is really powerful, because then it starts making it feel survivable, because you have a deadline and end point to work towards. Open-ended revision feels infinite, and your brain hates infinite things and stuff that it can't see an end to. A finish line changes everything. It's like kind of like running a race without a finish line. You're not going to know how fast you're going to be able to sprint because you don't know the finish line. You don't know how to pace yourself. Set an end line, and it's really, really powerful in not wasting your evening. Because remember, motivation comes and goes, but your structure doesn't. So if you build a container first, the work goes inside it. And if you want help from me building this kind of system that's personalized to you, not just the evening, but everything from your revision, accountability, planning, that is something I run inside the Student Accelerator, where we do exactly that. Live sessions, courses, the full structure, and personalized tips for you. And that'll be linked in the description. But the next 2 tips are actually what made the most difference for me, so make sure you keep watching. Fake it until it's real. Now this sounds really silly, but it's kind of a mindset thing, and it turns out there's more research behind this than I thought. And so actually, you should probably try this. When I get home, normally, I think, oh, there's so much work to do. I have a test tomorrow, I have 3 exams. I'm exhausted, I don't want to do any of this. That was the kind of vibe and mentality that I was going into the evening with. And so of course, because of that thought alone, I just reached for my phone before I even sat down. The session was over before it even started. So I started forcing myself to flip it. I'd literally say it out loud sometimes. I'd force myself to say this, like, actually, this topic is kind of interesting. You know what? I'm kind of excited for tomorrow's test. Let's actually get revising. It sounds unbelievably cringe, but it actually works really well. And the psychology behind it is something called cognitive reappraisal. You're intercepting the negative label that your brain automatically puts on situations such as the evening, which happens for a lot of students, because your brain follows the story that you tell it. So if you tell yourself that tonight is a punishment and you don't want to do it, you're going to find every escape route possible. Whereas if you tell yourself that it's interesting, you're going to actually lean in towards it. And you don't even have to believe it when you say it. Just saying out loud before your brain locks in another version is enough. So, before you open your books, say one genuine thing out loud about why what you're about to do is kind of interesting. Just one sentence, 5 seconds, and that changes the vibe and the trajectory of your study session. Even though maths is challenging, it is kind of rewarding and kind of fun, so why not try it? You know what, that essay, like, I don't really want to do it, but that one poet is actually kind of interesting. I like his poems. Let's see where it takes me. That kind of mindset really does help me. And one last quick thing is the transition ritual, which really is powerful. A lot of students go in with the mindset, and me as well, of like, okay, I'm home from school, I'm really tired, I'm just going to scroll for 5 minutes, I'm going to have like a little scrolling break before studying so that I can prep myself for studying and also like get into it. But the thing you have to realize is that the transition between tasks is a really pivotal moment, and the way you use it is really powerful and important, because when your dopamine spikes from like scrolling, which we all know it does, and then you have to suddenly do something like studying, which is all the way down here in terms of dopamine levels because it's quite boring, that big gap is really hard for you to switch lanes like that, and so you're probably not going to be able to do that. So I made a full video on this, which is here, about dopamine loading, but the really important thing is you want your dopamine and the kind of stuff, the dopamine it gives you to build tasks in like this kind of fashion instead of like zigzag and big jumps. So for instance, as soon as you get home from school, you can scroll, but then after you have dinner, it's kind of a reset. And so that's why the kind of pattern that I use is I go read or practice the piano before studying, because I know that if I like scroll or watch Netflix and kind of do those kind of break things, which aren't breaks by the way, because your brain is really fired up when you do those things, and then try and like shut it down completely and then try and study, it's like kind of getting a sprinter. Like imagine you're a 100-meter sprinter and you're sprinting, and then you suddenly tell yourself to stop and then go and do yoga like instantly. That kind of transition is just not possible, and that's what you're trying to make yourself force yourself to do when you try and go from scrolling to studying. And so try and think of more in this mindset and realize that you need to have a warm-up to go into studying, but that warm-up needs to be kind of a gradual and kind of like stepwise increment rather than a big thing. So before you study, just stare at a wall for 5 minutes, or like read instead. Go for a walk before studying, and then that makes it so much more easier. Your evening will be ruined if you start off with the high dopamine stuff like scrolling, so save those for the end of the evening if you have to. The full system. The train ride home, pick the stuff that you're going to do, make the decision beforehand, leverage non-negotiables, and also remember the transition thing. Stop telling yourself that it's going to be really boring and thinking of studying as a punishment, and have a more positive outlook, and it will change your kind of vibe and your attitude and trajectory of your study sessions. And that's it. That's how I went from 11:45 like shame spirals to actually getting a lot of stuff done and sleeping with a smile on my face because I actually got so much done in the evenings. If you want to do this alongside 22,000 other people, other students who are actually locked in, as you can see, like doing like these challenges, goals every single day, it's like a really great environment to be in. It's completely free, by the way. That'll be links below. But remember, if you want greater, proper accountability with live sessions and support directly from me, Student Accelerator will also be linked below. But these are all stuff to help you, which I hope you find useful. And I hope you found this video helpful as well. Leave a comment if it did. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. I'm gonna quickly speed solve this, guys. I'm gonna show you my talents. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, J Spark, if you still even remember that name, but I'm afraid you've been misinformed. Viewer, you are not here to receive a funny video ending, nor have you been called here by the individual you assume, although you have indeed been called. You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and misdirection, all to make you think you are getting something. A video with no exit, a video with no prize. You don't even realize that you are trapped. Your lust for a funny ending has driven you in endless circles, chasing the dopamine of seeing Steven do something stupid, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach. But you will never find it. None of you will. This is where your story ends. End communication.